Hey friends, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel Terry and I am the author of 5 fantasy novels. Information will be in the description box down below if you're interested. In today's video, I will be showing you how I take a formatted manuscript and turn it into an ebook, which is connected to what we covered in the last video. So if you haven't watched that video yet and you don't already have a formatted manuscript, I suggest doing that now because one of the copies we made of that manuscript is what we'll be using to make an ebook. And today I will be demonstrating using my upcoming book Before the Fall because I need to make an ebook of it anyway. So let's get started. So for my ebooks, I use a software called Kindle Create, which is free. You can download it from Amazon, and this works really well for me because I have all of my ebooks exclusive to Amazon. They're all in Kindle Unlimited, and using this program, you can export your ebook files as KPF, which is the preferred file that Amazon likes you to use, but you can also export it as EPUB, which I think you can use pretty much everywhere, and this is the file type that I use when I distribute my ARCs through BookFunnel. So before we hop into Kindle Create, let's go into our formatted manuscript. So you should have made a copy of everything like I told you, and you'll be using the one that you marked for your ebook for this. And before we can put this into Kindle Create, we have to do a little bit more work on this. And one of the reasons is that there are no blank pages in ebooks. When it comes to print books, which I'll demonstrate using Beyond the Throne, we sometimes insert strategic blank pages so that things end up where we want them to. So for instance, and this is the same for Before the Fall, I have parts in my book. So I want the part to appear on the right-hand side, and then the left-hand side is supposed to be blank. So I would insert a blank page here to make sure that this part ends up where I want it. And then depending on how the chapter ends, if the chapter ends on a left-hand page, then I have to make the right-hand page blank in order for this left-hand page to be blank and the part to end up on the right-hand side. So I've already taken out all those blank pages that I inserted into my manuscript for Before the Fall. If you have those blank pages, just delete them out of there. However, I do still have a blank page here, which we don't want, because while it makes sense to have blank pages in physical books, there's not a left or a right-hand side when it comes to ebooks. It's just whatever page you're on, that's the only page that's displayed. So we don't need blank pages in our ebooks. So I'm going to turn on my paragraph markers, and I'm just going to delete this page out. And it's gone. So I've done that with all of my parts, I think. I'll check that in a minute. The other thing that you need to do is insert a table of contents. And I insert mine directly after the dedication page. So you would just use a blank page there if you have one, or insert one if you don't, using section breaks. Then you would just go up to References, Table of Contents, and I think I just picked the automatic ones. This is why the chapter headers that we inserted in our physical manuscript were so important, because that's what it's going to pull from. It's going to pull directly from all of those. So yes, when you first put it in here, it's going to put it in Calibri, and it's going to make contents blue. The word contents, I highlight everything, make it black, and then I highlight all of the text and make it Garamond because it needs to be a font that you can use, and I make it size 12. And that's why it's really important to put headers in there, because this is what it pulls from. As you can see here, my back matter looks a little different. I don't have my photo in here. I delete that out. I don't include the photos of my other books in the back like I do with my physical copies, just because there's really no need. And I find that when I'm reading an ebook, when I go to the very end, it wants me to immediately rate the book and all that stuff. So I don't know how many authors actually see the back matter. And then of course when I open my ebook, it doesn't show me this page, the title page. It takes me directly to page 1. So with front matter and back matter, I don't really know how much the reader really sees unless they make a conscious effort to go back and look, which I usually do for the map. But it is there. The reason that my photo isn't in there and my books aren't in there in the back is because these are images, and images will bloat your ebook file really, really badly. And you don't want that, because if your book is too big of a file, you'll actually get a fee. So every time you sell an ebook, you'll make less money because there's a fee taken out for the file size. I found this out the hard way with The Phoenix and the Crown and A Tale of Two Sisters, and they were as big as they were because the chapter header images. So if we go to a chapter 1, you can see I don't have a chapter header image here. And so if you've already put it in there, because again, it's a little bit different, I don't go through all of the steps of formatting anymore. If you're just formatting a manuscript from scratch, you would probably end up with the chapter header images in your ebook file the first time because you made copies. So you could just delete the chapter header image out, and if you hid this header by making it white so it blends in with the page. You would just make it black again. I don't bother with the chapter header images just because I don't want the file size to get too big. I feel like if people want the fancier formatting, then they can pay to get a physical copy of it. But then the only pictures that I put in here is the map, and then the title pages. This is an image. I just leave it because I don't think it's that big of a deal having an image on that page and then this page. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but I don't put the chapter header images in there anymore. As you can see, I don't have drop caps inserted in here either. Now, I kind of hate myself low-key when I do this. Whenever I start a chapter with dialogue tags, because that's kind of tricky. It can be a little tricky sometimes to get those in there just right. So I'm going to save that. And we're going to open up Kindle Create. So I'm going to hit Create New, double click Create New, continue. This is optional, so I'll put before the fall and then my name in here. And then you're going to pick a file. And I'm going to pick the one that I marked as my ebook file. And then it's going to convert. And it should do most of the heavy lifting for you when it converts. You're going to have to change a few things, but because we already put the table of contents in there, we already have our headers where it should be, it should go pretty smoothly. You're going to get this dialog box that shows you all of your headers, and you get to pick which of these you want to keep. If they're already selected and they're what you want, I would leave them selected, and this looks like it got it. Usually there's a few at the beginning that I take out, but this one looks like it got it pretty good, so I'm going to accept the selected. Now this is my title image. I'm going to select this to full so that it's in the middle like it's supposed to be. The thing that irritates me a little bit about this is alt text. You basically have to write a description for screen readers of any image that you put in here, and it's just a title page. So that's what I'm going to put, before the fall title page. Okay, so this is my also by page, and then this is title page. That's already centered, so that's good. This is the copyright page. This is the dedication page. And this works because it takes me directly to where I click, which is really cool. My map. It looks funky. The maps always look funky on this, but when you preview it, you'll be able to see what it actually looks like, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. And oh my god, these freaking drop caps. So it's really having a rough time here with this. This is not. There we go. There we go. Okay. This is why I hate having a dialogue tag for the beginning of the thing. So I'm just going to scroll through this, make sure that all of the drop caps look okay. There's another one. That is huge. Okay, that's so much better. And I'm just going to make sure that all of this looks okay, which it should. So yeah, if you find yourself with a dialogue tag like this, for example, so you hit the backspace to move it back up to where it's supposed to be. I just highlighted what I don't want to be part of the drop cap, came over to elements and hit chapter first paragraph, and then that's what fixed it. So that was a relatively simple fix. I scrolled through everything. It looks okay. I've already proofed all of this. So first thing, I'm going to save this so I don't lose my progress. So then you would go to the export, and you can pick KPF or EPUB. I want both, so then I will export it. And you would pick your destination where you want it to go, and then name it. And it's exporting, doing its thing. And then you're ready to publish. You might have to fiddle with it a little bit more. I find that whenever I upload my exported ebook file to Amazon to actually publish it, the preview that they give you is much more helpful than what you get in this. At least that's been my experience. And of course, if there's something wrong with it, I'll come back and tweak it a little bit. But yeah, it's really not that hard because you did all of the heavy lifting when you formatted your physical manuscript for your print book. So it's really simple once you've got that done to just import it in here, and it's really not that hard. So that's really all I do for my ebooks. I don't do anything fancy. The main thing that I worry about now is not having the file size be too big again And of course, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. But otherwise, there you have it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. My name is Rachel Terry. I am the author of 5 fantasy novels, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!